YouTube, what's going on, everybody? Prosperity, clarity to you, abundance, with just a little under 10 days left into the second to last month of the year. I hope everyone has been enjoying their November. We are currently in Mercury retrograde for the next, I think, almost month. I think it ends December 20th. No, for another 10 days. I think it's from November 25th. No, November 15th to December 25th. Let me look it up real quick, y'all. But anyway, I hope everyone's communication has been well. Hope you've been able to just be mindful of the things that you're saying, being mindful of the way you're reacting to what you're hearing. Let me see right now. Siri, what is the current Mercury grade for 2024? Mercury retrograde 2024. Here we go. I think it's around December. Yep.
Dear family,
my bad.
I wish I would have known how hard it would be to be away.
November 25th to December 15th. So I was right. So we're like in, I think, the pre-shadow. So it's like the days right before Mercury retrograde. You always feel it. It's just, So I hope everyone's communication has been clear. Maybe not even communicating as you normally would due to Mercury being the communication sign. Y'all know me. I got my little wheezy Lil Wayne lighter flick thing going on with my Palo Santo. But yes, I'm excited because today I want to discuss something I think that's really been important to me for a while and something that I like to have in conversations with a lot of my peers. Let's cleanse the air, set the tone with a lot of my peers, just in general, like social media, people I know in real life. And as y'all can tell with the title, it's pretty much being able to be conscious of how wealthy you were born, like how wealthy you were born, what you was given from day one. Like we were all giving from day one something that we can consider to make us rich, to make us wealthy, to make us feel abundant and make us feel prosperous in our lives. And I think for sure, I know for sure that the key in the life hack and the cheat code is not self-sabotaging. Like we have to learn how to get out of our own way. And we have to learn how to get out of our own heads sometimes. That's why I'm an advocate for when you don't have the answers and you're just going inside of your own mind. Because like, you know when you're going through your mind and you're thinking about something too much and you're not getting the result that you want and you're starting to go into a dark place or a negative place, the best thing for you to do is to talk to someone or listen to someone that is not yourself. Because a lot of times what we'll do is we're like, I'll try to work through it. You'll try to talk to yourself and work through everything. And before I even get started, man, make sure y'all like, subscribe, follow, turn notification bells on. Sharing is caring. And if you're caring, is sharing. I have a Successful Self-Talk book out right now on Amazon. So you can go look up Successful Self-Talk on JB Waters. But I'm creating and finishing the author page. So y'all be able to directly purchase it from me. But either way, I want y'all to get knowledge. But there are certain times when you just cannot talk to yourself in the right way, or you can't tell yourself the things that you need to tell yourself in those moments to feel like you can get out of a negative headspace or get out of a bad thinking or a bad perspective in that moment. And the best thing to do is to go speak to someone who is not in the same situation you in that moment. They may have been once upon a time, but they're currently not there. Whether you need to vent to them, whether you need to just be able to ask them for advice, just going to the getting to the point to where you can go to someone else that's not you, not your own mind. And it might even be better for someone who's not close to you. Or it might be a moment where you do want to talk to somebody who's close to you because you don't want to share certain stuff like that with a stranger or be that vulnerable to a stranger. But the goal is to be able to put ourselves in a position as much as possible to use the God-given, I would say God, talents and things that were designed to make you rich and not self-sabotage. Self-sabotaging, I think, is destroying us as humans, as a society, as humankind, mankind, womankind. Self-sabotaging is destroying us, and it's really keeping us from being all we need to be. And I want to break it down to y'all in a couple of things. One, the thing that, in my opinion, makes us self-sabotage and keeps us away from growing as much as we can is we're not aligned with our source. And I mean, to me, y'all, to keep it real funky with you, I think source is such a hard thing to try to like put our finger on, depending on who you are, depending on what you believe in, because like when you talk about God, you talk about religion, it gets so deep and convoluted because there's so many different versions of what is essentially the same thing or supposed to be the same thing. Infinite intelligence, love, abundance, expansion, just ever growing and always being able to evolve. And I think we get so caught up. We're trying to put a name on it. Like you call it this, they call it that, I call it this, you call it that. But in reality, I think it's just being able to be aligned with your inner self and your essence. You know, let's just say before we even put a name on it and call it God or give God a name, and we can, you know, all the different things people call it. But what about that feeling that you have in the inside? Like everybody knows when they go to sleep at night, they know if something is not right. You know, the truest person that you are is a person when nobody else is around, in my opinion. The truest person you are is who you are when you're in bed and you're laying in your bed alone. And it might be silent in the house, or it might be people talking, but you're in your house alone. The world might be noisy depending on where you live in the world. It might be cars honking and people outside, dogs barking. But that moment, that night, you truly know who you are. You know the times that you lied to yourself. You know the times that you lied to other people. You know the times where you were feeling comfortable, the times where you wasn't feeling comfortable. You know the days when you were just lost and confused. Like, we know that. So I think when you can tap back into that person and consistently have a conversation with that version of yourself, your essence, I think that's when you start to line up with self. You start to line up with truth. You start to line up with what really matters beyond what people say is the ego. And I think a lot of self-sabotaging comes from us trying to battle the ego to determine which version of yourself should you be. Should like the ego be leading you, or should you be leading the ego? And just to give y'all some insight, the word ego is actually literally the word to say I in Latin. So you know the Latin language that is extinct, nobody really uses unless you're thinking of root words. Well, in Latin, the word for I is ego. So when you're saying ego, you're saying I. So when you're thinking of ego, it's just yourself, and you're thinking of I in yourself. And it's funny how the word for Latin means ego, because it's like that person has a big ego, or that person being egotistical, and it's really like that person is just being self-centered. Now, if you think about if you're being self-centered, is this self-centeredness that we're referring to the true self of who you are, or is it just the self-centeredness of who you're pretending to be? And I mean, let me know what y'all think in the comments when it comes to that. Like when somebody says you're being yourself and you're being egotistical and you're being self-centered, do you think when you're coming from ego, is it like, what is it? What makes people have that ego? I think, in my opinion, it's a defense mechanism of us trying to find out who we are. I think ego is just like the default option that you choose in this world because you don't know the essence. You don't know that baby version of you. You don't know like the spiritual side of you, of who you were before you were put into your mom's belly, before you, like that essence that's inside of you. And I think until you find that out, all you have is ego. You just have this person to kind of say, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. And in the search of finding yourself beyond the default version of yourself to find yourself, which sounds fucking crazy. I know that just sounded crazy as hell. But like the default version that you're presented with when you come into the world that you're battling with, that's the version of you, I think, that is constantly self-sabotaging because you're trying these things out. Like when you were a kid, you would listen to your mom, but you started not listening to your mom because listening to your mom was your mom. It wasn't you. You didn't even know why not to listen to your mom because you were just like, I'm gonna listen to my mom because my mom is my caregiver, my dad's my caregiver. Maybe you didn't grow up with your parents, whoever was your guardian, whatever your situation was. The authority didn't make you feel free. It didn't make you feel like who you were because they were over you and you didn't have an identity because that was all them. Like we all long for freedom because our spirit is aligned with what I believe the source, and it's infinite and it's forever growing, forever evolving, and it forever expanding, like the universe literally is right now in this moment. So when you're younger, you go against that because you're just like, well, I mean, that's your thoughts. Those are not mine. I only think that because you put it inside of me. So I think when you're going through those growth pains, those self-sabotage, it's really a defense mechanism. So that's the first thing. I think self-sabotaging is aligned with defense, and it's parallel with the ego because you're trying to defend something that you don't really know that you are. And I think that version of self-sabotaging is okay up until a certain extent, until when you're literally losing all of you. Like you're literally losing yourself, and you're literally losing yourself because you're getting even faster to death. Like we're all dying every day. We're getting older, hair's falling out. Look, my hair is getting thinner as I get older. It just happens. But when you start making certain decisions that lead you to that end a lot faster, I think that's when the self-sabotaging really gets in the way of the richness that you were born with, the growth that you was born with, the infinite intelligence that you was born with, the ability to be literally rich and have money, y'all. And so I'm going to relate the first thing to how it has to do with rich and wealth. When you are aligned with abundance and aligned with growth, you recognize that you have a good idea of what growth looks like. Like let's think about it from a mathematical standpoint. Growth looks like 1 + 1 = 2. Basic math. 2 × 2 = 4. 3 to the third power equals, so you do the math. So 3 × 3 is 9. 9 × 3 is 27. So 3 to the third power to the power of 3 is 27. You look though, but that's growth. You see that. Now, when it comes to yourself and aligning, we understand growth as well because we look at growth as saying, wow, growth is something that I didn't have scaled out from a time period. So if I didn't have this yesterday and I had it today, then that's growth. So you can literally look at that in alignment with your money, because if you are living a life that is self-sabotaging, and we identified it what self-sabotaging is in the first point, which is a defense mechanism in parallel with the ego, then if you are self-sabotaging and the self-sabotaging is getting in the way of your growth, then your self-sabotaging is what's keeping you from being able to have all the money that you desire, all the things that you really want in your life, because it's doing the opposite of growth, y'all. That's why animals are so aligned with the source, and they're so aligned because they don't have free will. They're just there. They're animals. They're there to like make us happy, in my opinion, to the most fucking part. Like I don't believe in being reincarnated and put into like a bug or, like a wolf or owl or something. Like I do believe in somewhat spiritual animals and meanings behind animals because it's all energy, but animals are just pretty much here for us, in my opinion. Like nature's nature and all of that. We need to take care of Mother Nature, but like I just feel like, yeah, it's gonna go on no matter what, but humans are always gonna be here. So I think it's so crazy how the nature as in you see the nature of life and Mother Nature and Earth and the animals, how that nature lines up more with growth and evolution and literally money, because they don't have self-sabotaging tendencies. Like, you don't see a bird going out there just breaking their wing. You don't see like dogs out there just doing crazy stuff to their bodies and eating like you don't see that. Like, everything wakes up. A rooster crows, or a rooster like does this little thing when it's supposed to in the morning. You know, squirrels go and run around and trying to find a mate, and they get the squirrel. It's so simple, and then it aligns. Human beings, we're the only species that the thing that was designed to make us grow, we actually destroyed. Like, your lungs were there to protect you and make sure that you breathe, and you were meant to breathe and evolve and use your lungs for a purpose. Like, your lungs have a purpose. But for the sake of not being aligned, and for the sake of trying to find ourselves and battling this ego, like I just described, we smoke cigarettes, and we drink and eat tobacco, chewing tobacco, and we do all of these things. And our liver is supposed to be able to filter, our liver and our kidneys is supposed to be able to filter our blood and get the waste out. But we drink alcohol and we drink sodas, and it's like all of these things that were literally designed to make us wealthy and to make us rich and to help us prosper. We destroy it through self-sabotaging. Like, can anybody, like, do y'all see what I mean? Why everything that we have, we were naturally born to become rich or be rich and be wealthy, but self-sabotaging is pretty much taking it away. Like, you don't see no animal doing that. Like, maybe, I don't know, like, I'm not like whatever a person who studies animals or anything like that, or I don't know what the name would be for the term for that type of person. But like, literally everything, bro, like everything we have, human beings, our minds were literally designed to do some amazing things. But instead of using our minds to evolve and grow and be forever expanding like the universe, we eat these foods and we do these drugs to destroy our brain cells, and we watch these shows, and it's just like all of this stuff we're doing to ourselves is the opposite of wealth and money. That's why a lot of my videos and videos like this don't get a lot of traction in the beginning, because people just don't see the connection. Y'all just don't see the key. And I'm not saying y'all, because if y'all my followers, y'all are watching, y'all my subscribers, I love all of y'all. I appreciate you. I don't care if y'all comment or nothing. If y'all just watching just to watch, it's fine. I hope I'm changing someone's lives. Subscribe, share, turn the notifications on. But beyond the people that's watching, my big 85, 84 subscribers, most of this time, this content doesn't get out because people don't really want to live. People don't want to grow. And I say people don't want to grow is because people truly make the choice for what they want. Truly. You know how I know that? Because when COVID was around and people started panicking, look how people were. I don't know how old y'all are, how young y'all are, but remember America, how we was for like 2 weeks during 9/11? During 9/11 in America, around 9/11, people did not give a fuck. Everybody was friends. It was cool. Oh my God, Americans, we stick together. That lasted for like a month. And after that, people was back there not giving a fuck. So it's like, in our essence, we were built this way, but because our minds are not aligned with the fact that you are designed to evolve and grow, there's nothing else beyond that. Everything beyond that is extra. But you realize once you understand that, you will have all of the extras, because all of the extras is just byproducts of growth. That's it. When you get your mind right, the car, the clothes, the spouse of your dreams, the vacations, the traveling, that's just all a byproduct of being able to embrace your evolution and your growth. Having abundance and money, having bank accounts, having 4 or 5 bank accounts, having different streams of income, those are all just byproducts of abundance and prosperity that you was already given from birth, your birthright, because you were giving these things because you were naturally designed to grow. Your mind was designed to help you think so you can have these beautiful thoughts and evolve. Your lungs were designed to make you so you can breathe in this air that we're trying to preserve and this oxygen that we're trying to preserve. Your lungs, your heart was meant to pump your blood so you can breathe. Like, everything on you, every little thing. And then what's even sad sadder is the fact that there's people who don't actually have these things. I'm gonna try to remember, y'all tap in, try to remember to post in the description. There was another video said if you use these two gifts, if you were born with these two gifts, you guaranteed to get rich. These two gifts that you have, most people have these two gifts. So I'll put that in the description. Y'all go check on that video. But this, what I'm talking about now, is of that same, of that same concept. So, second thing, self-sabotaging aligned with ego. Self-sabotaging is aligned with ego in your defense mechanism to find out who you are along that journey. The second thing I think that goes along with everything that everything that you have was designed to make you wealthy and rich is none of this stuff out here in the world that was made by man's hand, it does not matter unless we give it meaning. Beyond that, everything else that was already like not made by our hands, it already has meaning. It already has meaning because it aligns with us being able to exist. Like the fresh water that's already on this earth in places where the water is drinkable and you don't have to filter it, it was already here. And universe, God already knew that you're going to be a species that needs to drink water. Here, it's there for you. So the fruit, the vegetables, all of the medicines and the people, the shamans who live in the beautiful place of South America and the Amazon and all those places, which I cannot wait to be able to get down there and hablan con mucha la gente de Latin America. But like a lot of that stuff that's there, y'all, it's for us. It's for us. The money is only here and it only matters because we make it matter. It doesn't mean anything. So that's another part of like how you were supposed to be rich or why you was born rich is because everything beyond the natural things that are in this world, it only matters for us. So we make it mean something. So the world is rich in these cars and houses and all these beautiful things our minds have come up with and we be able to create. And people get to share these experiences. This phone that I'm recording through, the tripod that is sitting on, this big ass TV that's behind me. These were things that we created because we felt that they were valuable because we were already rich before these things. Now, if you consider economics and price and the value that somebody puts on their work, and that's all it is. This only costs something because somebody values their work so much. They say, you know what, I think that my work is worth this much, so I'm going to charge for this. And then that's a whole nother conversation. But I think if people can understand how to see the connection between how rich you are already, and then you won't overvalue all the stuff that's outside of you. You won't overvalue that car. You won't overvalue the TV. You won't overvalue the clothes because you realize that that stuff only means something because of me. Now, if you're self-sabotaging, you won't ever see the true meaning in that stuff anyway, and you'll use it and you'll just burn through it and you'll start to drown in it and get lost in it, and most likely won't ever become rich anyway because you're overvaluing those things because you're putting more energy in those things instead of putting more energy in yourself, and those things wouldn't exist without you anyway. Well, like what product would exist without a person to buy it? There would be no product worth anything if there was nobody that could buy the product. There would be no product that even mattered if there was nobody there that wanted the product. None of these products would even be here if there was no human to even make them. So all of these products matter and they have value because we think they have value the same way money does. But the things that were here beyond a human's hands, a woman's hands, beyond a man's hands, they're infinite and they matter the most because they align with who we are, because they're rich to give us that wealth that we already have. The food, the water, the air, all of those things are meant to align with the infinite version of you. The nature is meant to align with your natural self. So I think that if you can tap into these two things that I just said, y'all, realizing that you were naturally given everything that you need to become wealthy. Physically, if you have those things. Now, if you don't, that's a different story. I'm sure God, universe has instilled in you other things to offset that. You know, I always think about sick people who are like born handicapped and have autism and born with diseases and have to be in wheelchairs for the rest of their fucking life. Like, that shit pains me so much. So that's a whole nother story, a whole different group of people. And I still feel like there's a story behind those people's lives and things that they were blessed with. But even more, if that is not you, you have no fucking excuse why you do not succeed. You have the eyes, you have the ears, you have the lungs, you have the brain, you have the heart, you have the knees, you have the hands, you have the elbows, you have the legs, you have the toes, you have the stomach, you have the back, you have and I mean the stomach as in the gut. You have the gallbladder, the pancreas, the heart. I can go through all of these things, the throat, the tongue, the teeth, the mouth, the lips. You have all of these things. All of those things literally in this world where all of the stuff that determines to be people rich in this world, what we think makes somebody rich, wouldn't mean shit without all the stuff that I just mentioned. Imagine if a person didn't have any of that. Imagine if the whole world was sick. Nobody would be able to create anything, and then nobody would be able to use anything that was created anyway because you'll be too sick to use it. If you don't believe that, then think about Steve Jobs' life at the end of his life. He was doing everything to fight cancer, and this man was one of the most brilliant minds of all time. One of the richest men of all time, especially for what he was doing. And none of that shit mattered because what's the point of having money if you can't use it? So that's the one thing I want y'all to understand. If you can understand that you have to align with your natural self and don't let self-sabotage get in the way. And self-sabotaging, y'all, is destroying the things that was naturally given to you to make you feel rich by drinking, doing drugs. All those things are destroying you. And I'm not gonna be a self-righteous person because I've been through it. My birthday was October 28th, and every year I celebrate my birthday is a year that I celebrate my sobriety. So I've been there, you know, and even when I was doing all that stuff, I still was aware of these thoughts. But it was an experience, an experiment that I had to go through. So if that's where you at in your life, man, I pray that you can wake up another day to keep moving forward and you can see why you're doing the thing that you're doing, and you can look behind and be like, okay, I see why I did that. And the second thing is understanding that the things that you consider rich outside of you aren't rich unless you exist. And the things that are really rich are the things that are inside of you. So the things that are outside of us, the things that we consider to make a person rich, the houses, the cars, the luxurious stuff, even the asset, even the gold. Gold doesn't mean shit if a human being can't trade it for something else and use it. We're not about to eat a block of gold. All of the things that people think and consider to be rich mean nothing without the real richness within inside of you to align with it, y'all. So self-sabotaging destroys the natural riches that you have. The external riches do not mean anything without the internal riches that a person has to leverage and utilize it and use it. I hope this makes so much sense to y'all. I always try to, like I say, wrap it up in a little cajita and put a little bow on the top for y'all. I'm working on brevity. Hope y'all don't get too tired of this lighter flicking, man. But I got to keep that Palo Santo going, and I need to cop another lighter, a longer, bigger lighter. But yeah, y'all, let's get it, man. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Let's get this channel to 100 subscribers, y'all. Road to 100, then road to 1,000, road to 10,000. Let's just keep going. Let's keep going. Like, tap in, share. I want some of y'all to get on here, man. If y'all got pages and y'all want me to subscribe, man, come on. I will subscribe. Subscribe for subscribe. You know, let's trade subscriptions. I don't care, man. It's community, it's connection. I want us to connect. Like I said, I wanted to be able to really talk about personal development, some more metaphysics involved, and not just straight numbers and everything like that. Because at the end of the day, my goal is to reveal the direct correlation between financial freedom, financial literacy, and personal development, and how the better you become, the more money you can have, and the more you become, the more you can have. I hope everybody enjoys their weekend, enjoy the next 7 days, next 8-9 days left in December, and I will see y'all soon. Remember to stay well, be conscious, and write your worlds into existence. Love.